Bonjour, Luigi. Buenos dias. Guten Morgen. Buongiorno. Dzień dobry. Kalispera, Malagas. It's time for the long-awaited European episode. L'esprit de European. The sophisticated episode that smokes too many cigarettes, eats too much bread, doesn't really believe in God, and thinks it's smart because it's slightly less stupid than the American episode. The Guardians of the Galaxy, the cradle of civilization, the OG racists, those who think too much and do too little. This is the European episode, and it's good to it's so good, Luigi, to have you with me here, Luigi, protector of the motherfucking realm. And my God, is that real looking shabby, brother? How are you?
In today's episode, fascism coming to a parliament near you.
In today's episode, shit goes bad once again. In an unexpected turn of events.
It hits the fan, but very slowly, European style.
Are you there? How have you been, Luigi?
Doing really well. I returned from, let's call it Central Europe.
You returned victorious, rejuvenated, refreshed, recuperated, redeemed, and ready, and motherfucking ready to rock and roll. To keep on rocking in the barely free world.
In the less and less free world. But yeah, so what did I miss while I was away?
Oh yeah, but that's yesterday's news, Luigi. We had the greatest of all elections by the guys who made up the motherfucking concept, Luigi. the European elections. And should we, Luigi, should we go through the overall picture first, as we've already alluded to, before we get into each country, especially with the most important ones first? Well, I mean, I want to say firstly, I hope you European motherfuckers voted. It is your duty. We had slightly higher participation rate, I think, from last time. It's 51%. And this is the change, Luigi, from last time, the numbers, the pluses and minuses. The S&D, which is the group of socialists and Democrats, the center-left group, lost about 4 votes, Luigi.
The Greens took a big loss. The slightly center-left took
the Greens took one of the biggest losses, yes.
So basically, for the viewers as well, the way you are seeing these parties, it's basically the political spectrum. To the right is the more far right, to the left is the more left, and you can basically see that the right
apart from the last one over here, apart from the last block, which is the independent ones, which haven't aligned with a political group. I mean, we have to explain just a little bit, in the European Parliament, which is the world's only transnational elected parliament, they align according to ideology. And as Luigi explains, you start with the far left and end up with
Viktor Orban,
the behemoth,
the real right,
with the behemoth,
strength through strength, George.
Yes. And the alternatives for Deutschland, which got ejected from Le Pen's group. So you're in the shittiest of groups.
They were too far right for the far right. Is the way to translate that.
Yeah. So I mean, what have we got, Luigi? Yeah, the biggest beatings, the Greens. What do you think the Greens, Luigi? I think mostly it's because other concerns have increased on the agenda, more so than because the Greens did something exceptionally bad from last time.
I'll agree that the climate issue is pretty far down on the agenda right now.
We've discussed inflation over and over. I think voters are feeling that far more strongly and voting based on that than the environment, sadly. And we had Macron's party, Luigi, Macron's group, which is the liberals people, the greatest of all political ideologies. They got a beating as well, mainly because of France's showing, because of Macron's party's delegates showing. When we'll get to that, we'll get through individual countries. And I think, Luigi, should we go to the Christians, to the great center right?
Yeah, center right is the word.
Who claimed victory? Should note claimed victory after the because they gained seats. It has to be noted they gained 10 seats. Donald Tusk in Poland had a particularly good showing. And what do you think, Luigi? What do you think? I mean, fucking Ursula nearly wet her fucking pants. Never seen her so excited.
I didn't think she could get excited.
Yeah,
But
me
look,
too.
honestly,
Yeah.
just looking at the gains and the losses on that spectrum, what stands out to me is that, like, if you look at most European countries, you've got right-wing governments,
Yes.
ruling
Yes.
right now, and things are
Yes.
not going that well, and yet the right is making gains. So that I find puzzling. How do you protest vote by voting the people who are pretty much already in power? I mean,
True.
I guess
True.
that's a simplistic way of looking at it because it's the far right that really had a decent
Well,
showing.
I mean, you're right, Luigi. Though the center right had a decent showing as well. I mean, as we said, they claimed victory after the results. And I'm gonna add, Luigi, that the center left, even in its weakened state, didn't get too damaged by the elections. I mean, they just lost 4 seats from last time.
Yeah. Look, not a great shift, I guess. I'm
The
not quite sure
liberals,
that.
Luigi, the
Yeah, the liberals,
liberals.
Macron, and this is a great segue, I
This is a
guess,
great
into our
segue
next
into
pick.
the
Yeah.
individual. I mean, let's get to the two most important countries, which also were two very important ones in terms of results, which was France and Germany. And I think both. I mean, the coalition in Germany, Scholz in charge, and Macron got a fucking, as the great Obama would call it, a shellacking. They received a shellacking, Luigi. So we get to France
To France, the
and
shellacking
Macron.
was
So
so
bad.
great
Yeah.
that
Because
he had to
yeah.
call elections.
I
So we
mean,
got elections in France.
legislative elections, yes. And the shellacking, it was, I mean, Le Pen got double the amount of delegates than Macron. And Macron immediately responded by having a speech dissolving French parliament and calling legislative elections in less than a month, I think, they're beginning. On take place on 30th of June, which is in 20 days, and the second one on the 7th of July, the elections for the National Assembly, which is considered the Parliament of France.
So to be clear, this is not a presidential election.
No, no,
Macron is
no.
not going to lose his job if he loses the election, but he
Yes.
might lose parliament.
He might lose parliament to Le Pen's party, yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, you want my take on this,
Yeah,
why he did it.
what's the play? What's the strategy from
And it's
Macron
a very
here?
dangerous strategy, Luigi, because as we said, at this point, yes, he got shellacked in the European Parliament, but those guys go to fucking Brussels. In his fucking assembly, he currently has 169 deputies, while Le Pen's party has only 88. I mean, these elections might result in a complete reversal of that result. You get me?
I get
If
you.
they
Look,
respond the same way.
there's an old rule sort of in European politics that says that what happens in European Parliament elections doesn't really translate to national elections. I guess we're
Yes.
about to find out if
Yes.
that's true. But like, for example, you can think of many examples over the years, but Nigel Farage might be the best one in the sense that, like, a guy like that can get elected to French Parliament, to the European Parliament. But
But he
I
still
don't.
hasn't been able to get elected in the UK Parliament. By the way, he's
Honestly,
trying again. We'll see what happens. He's trying again. Once again, the great Farage roams free to shit on everybody's head.
the great bringer of Brexit. But
Yeah. But
on
let's
a
get
more
to
time,
France. Yeah.
yes, on a more timely matter, what's like? I don't understand what is there to gain from this. Right? At best, if you're Macron, you maintain your percentages in parliament. That's the best case scenario, right?
I
Because he's not
agree.
gonna gain seats. So
That seems extremely unlikely. I think Macron in his boldest of essences, because
his
he wants
Napoleonic
he wants to be
gambol.
a bold guy, and he was like, I personally, his feelings were like, oh, you little shits, so you send double the amount of delegates from Le Pen to fucking Brussels, why don't you put them in your fucking kitchen and they feed you the fucking shit sandwiches? See how you like that, you have the stomach for that, I think it was calling a
That's
bluff.
calculation. Yeah.
It was like, okay, dipshits, you may send that many dipshits to Brussels, but that's in fucking Belgium. How about you send them in your fucking assembly and see what happens?
Yeah, I mean that's an erratic approach.
It is.
There
It
has
is.
to be a strategy here, and I don't see it. Like there's no obvious gain from this.
Luigi, I've heard one supposedly professional opinion that he's gonna attempt to get them to go. He's gonna get them in a much greater position in the assembly, which will make him cohabitate with them in a fucking attempt to make them as unfavorable as he is. Essentially, get them in government, at least in the legislature. Seriously,
Oh my Lord.
so that they get as unpopular as he is
Yeah,
by the time you get elections in 3 years, presidential ones.
yeah. Or if you can't form a proper government, maybe just blame them for that, for the country being in a deadlock, basically,
He's being
legislatively.
bold, Luigi. La
Yeah, but
France,
but
for
I mean,
France.
you could have used the next 3 years to actually govern and use that as
Maybe they
your
gave
path
him a
to.
brief about Pedro Sanchez and he got a bit confused about his strategy. He called elections at the wrong moment. I don't know, Luigi. I agree with you. And I mean, clearly the far more timid, but maybe more sensible Scholz was like, no, dudes, we're going to have the elections when we have the elections. What the fuck do you want?
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Because he got a shellacking as well. I mean, let's get to the numbers.
I'm very curious as
West
to
Germany. Oh,
Macron favorability ratings, favorability polls. I'm quite curious to see how popular he is.
not very popular, I would guess, immediately without even looking at them. But
40%, like swinging between 30 and 40%.
it's better than Biden, I think.
That's equal to
Equal to
Biden.
Biden. I mean, wow, bravo.
But I mean, 50 to 60% unfavorable. So,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
they showed it in the European elections, but as Luigi said, the results don't always or often track with the national elections. They usually vote as a protest vote in European elections because Europeans are like, fuck it, we'll just send them to Belgium. We can just protest with this. They won't be able, because, I mean, they forget that they actually have an impact on European policy. So, I
which
mean,
is far more important than national policy, arguably. I
yeah,
mean, over
yeah.
time at least.
Definitely, but it still gets complicated because the European Union is a very complicated institution. I mean, people cannot clearly understand who holds the power in this year because you also got the council of actual 27 elected leaders. I mean, people are not even clear how the commissioner actually gets in power because it's not even written in any treaties or something. It's just an agreement they've got where the biggest party nominates him, but he actually needs a working majority in parliament. And the biggest party is never the actual majority. I mean, you got 186
Yeah.
out of 700 and what? I mean, you get what I mean, 720. So it's complicated. And even then, it's the council that nominates him. So it's all fucking weird.
Speaking of the commissioner, this is a great way. Indulge me, if you will, George. There you go.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one. So there's an outside chance. I think there's still hope that we get an actually half decent
The
person.
greatest of all Marios.
The biggest Mario of them all. The
I
Draghi.
mean, he already looks
Super
ready to
Mario.
jump over a motherfucking mushroom, isn't he? I mean, he's ready. He's ready for this. I would prefer
I
him
think
100% from Ursula. 100%. This guy
I would.
actually did something.
So Mario Draghi, for general background, for anyone that doesn't know, used to be president of the European Central Bank. He basically is credited with ultimately saving Europe from crisis by getting
and
into a central bank.
partly inventing the carbonara recipe.
Partly, that was
Partly,
his
yeah.
early career. But in all seriousness, obviously, he was prime minister of Italy before Meloni, so a year ago or so. So Draghi is seen as one of those technocratic sort of uniting figures. He's the
But
equivalent of
very
that.
good at it, but an effective one.
Excellent at
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
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 they're
yeah.
like the most effective technocrat I
He's
can
the
think of.
greatest of the technocrats.
A techno god.
A
But
techno. Excellent.
but yeah.
I mean, Luigi, I just want to say, in terms of Ursula, I mean,
Mhm.
she's not the worst commissioner I've ever seen. Specifically, I would give her credit for the pandemic response. The
She was
whole,
okay around the pandemic. Do you remember
yeah,
the early days of the Israel Gaza thing?
she was pretty shit, yeah.
She went
But
to
she's
Israel, like
German.
took pictures
She's
with
German, Luigi.
tanks or whatever. Yeah, but she's the
100%.
president of the
Yeah.
commission.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. It wasn't
I
a
mean,
united European response. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, she's the one, she's the candidate from the fucking center right Christian Democratic Party. I don't align with parties that call themselves motherfucking Christian, Luigi.
I can't align with that either, but you can't deny that they're the biggest party in the European Parliament. So you'd have to tell me
Undeniable,
that.
undeniable, obviously. But we didn't do too shabby for being fucking at some of the worst possible moments of our history.
Spanish Prime Minister, our favorite, Sanchez.
The greatest. He didn't do badly either. Should we go through a few just to have? We went through Germany and France. We had
Sure.
Spain. He didn't do too shabby. He got. That's not the best way to look at it. Was Spain. He got 20, and the center right got 22.
Ooh, the center right, but the center right doubled its seats,
Oh
basically
yeah,
almost.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huge, huge.
The liberals, Luigi, as we said. They
Yeah.
had the worst showing, either the Greens or the Liberals. The Greens mostly in Germany again. It wasn't just Scholz who had. I mean, Scholz took a beating, Luigi, in Germany. Specifically, he came fucking fourth. That's Scholz
Fourth.
party.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Scholz party. I mean, he just lost two, but still. And then you've got the AFD, which is non-aligned because, as we said, too far right for the far right. And then you had a really good showing by the Christian Democrats in Germany, who seem set to rule again, I would venture, and a very alarming second place by the alternatives.
Yeah.
And then you
Look,
have France. Yeah. Just to
uh,
finish, Luigi, Italy.
mm,
Meloni had a good showing, and I would say Meloni is the only leader of a major European nation that had a good showing. Tusk as well from Poland, and but I would say in Italy, the socialists, the
the
center
left.
left
Yeah.
party, did pretty well. They became clearly the second party in Italy.
The plot
The
thickens.
plot thickens. The
Led
plot.
by, who's
Led
that
by
kid?
Eli Schlein, I think, who is more to the left than the previous leader of the center left, which is named as the Democratic Party. Wow.
Yeah. Plot twist. Yeah, but what I see there is that Salvini did the
Salvini is in
worst.
the shits. Salvini is
Yeah.
in the shits. Everybody shits on him this day. Yeah, for
He lost.
anyone, he's the previous far-right champion of Italy,
Yeah. Yeah.
who got
And I'm
displaced by the great
by
George.
Meloni. Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgia, I'm not. I'm a moderate far righter, Meloni.
I'm the smartest far-right goon that has ever existed.
I mean, this clearly shows she's doing a good job. She's pretty popular
Obviously,
domestically.
domestically and internationally, which, as we said, right now
Yeah.
we've got Ursula, which is clearly wants the second term as commissioner and is eyeing either an alliance with the socialists again or with Meloni and the ECR. She's okay with Meloni. Clearly, the main issue, I would say, Luigi, is Ukraine, with Meloni aligning being pro-Ukraine, and we've got Le Pen being very muddy on that one, and Orban
Really?
clearly being against Ukraine.
Wow.
Well, Le
Yeah.
Pen, I can't really tell you whether she's pro or anti. She's gotten a lot of Russian money through the years. That has been well established. But these days, as we said, she wants to get elected. So the socialists, I should note, wouldn't agree with an alliance that involved Meloni. So that's all we know at this
This would
point.
have been the third or the fourth French election with Le Pen on one side.
Oof, there's been 1,000 French elections where a fucking Le Pen is running. I would
Wow.
say, Luigi, that this time, I
The
think,
Le Pen family
yeah,
business.
the Le
Yeah.
Pen motherfucking family business. I would say this time, Luigi, that Bardella who ran as the lead MEP of Le Pen's national rally. He was very charismatic. I saw his speech yesterday. He seemed far more charismatic than Le Pen, and I would attribute some of that success to him. He's a young guy, Luigi.
Young guy.
A young
Yeah.
guy who wants to annihilate France, send France
And
to the
European
Middle
politics.
Ages. Yeah.
And European politics more broadly.
Ah,
Like,
there he
I,
is.
if they felt there was support for that, they would do a Frexit or whatever we would call that. It's a weird time to be in European politics.
So, I mean, I would say, Luigi, I would say that the effect in the European Parliament,
Hmm.
the effect of the European Parliament is far less. I mean, the far right is going to have far less of an impact in the European Parliament, and they will have an impact because, as you've seen, they've gained 11, however many, 13 seats. But it's not going to be nearly the amount of impact that they're going to have in some national governments like France, which is going to national legislative elections. And Germany, not so much at this point, because, as we said, Scholz, I believe, chose more wisely by not calling for any motherfucking elections, because why would you? You just lost the European elections.
I mean, seriously, and you've got like another 2 or 3 years until elections. Why would you immediately, like, wait a month or something?
For
See how the
France!
polls. He's a bold character. I'm gonna give it to him.
Yes,
I
yes,
I think this
yes.
is gonna, in hindsight, this is gonna be where
A
he ruins his
mistake.
career. Yeah, yeah, huge error.
It's
But
very possible, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, there is a possibility in the very foolish plan to get to get Le Pen's party governing at least legislatively to make them as unpopular as everybody else, because it's been a long running tradition since since I don't know, Chirac, where every French politician is unpopular. So there may be a wisdom to that, to his
we hate on.
madness.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. I mean,
Let's see how the little shits like these.
no, maybe it pays out.
We'll
Who
see.
knows?
We'll see.
At the end of the day,
We'll keep a very open eye on this.
let's keep going.
We've got Gaza, Luigi. Should we just go through a quick overview of what has happened? Biden
Yeah.
came out in a newspaper, maybe an interview, one or the other, and he said that he has every reason to believe. I think it was a New York Times interview to believe Two Times magazine. I'm being very acoustic right now, sorry. Saying that he had every reason to believe Netanyahu is prolonging Gaza war for political gain. Then he sort of took it back, whatever. We had clashes in Jerusalem as thousands of Israelis paraded in their annual, I would say, Jewish supremacist parade through the Muslim quarter. Violence. One of the far-right ministers attended. Then we had the UN adding Israel to the list of states committing violations against children. But I mean, with more than 13,000 children estimated to be among the 36,500 killed. I think it's more than 37,000 at this point. And then we had a rescue of 4 hostages, which is very good news. But then 274 people were killed in that
We had to
rescue.
sacrifice 300 people for
Four
saving 4 others,
hostages.
George.
And 700 wounded, because it was, I don't know, when you have to go through through so many humans to rescue 4 hostages, maybe there were better ways. Not that we're against the rescuing for the hostages. We're very happy for the hostages who have been there for fuck knows how long at this point, 7 months, 8 months. And there's still a lot more hostages. Did you see,
It
Luigi?
just
Yeah.
seems that sacrificing 280, 70 people
And wounding, I mean, yeah,
and
700.
yeah, 1,000 people, everything included. I mean, it just seems a little bit excessive. I don't know the circumstances. Was
They
it
got
just like an
shot at.
airstrike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A vehicle got blocked. It got shot at. They called in airstrikes. I can give you
No,
the
it's just
special
like,
forces team was confronted by militants, and when a rescue vehicle got stuck, called in backup from the Air Force and other troops. They escaped under heavy bombardment. They responded by bombing the shit out of everything. Eyewitnesses also reported tank and drone fire. But obviously they got shot at as well. I'm not saying that there was no militant response to them, obviously.
yeah. They got shot and they leveled the block in
Yeah,
essence.
Give or take, yeah. Did you see Luigi, the EU's top diplomat, Josep?
Josep.
He got
Mm, so, so
he went hard, Luigi, on this. I thought for a diplomat. I mean, Israel called him the greatest of all anti-Semites, etc.
at this point, we are giving that title away every single week, like to a different person.
It's true.
Usually
It's
in high
true.
offices.
Usually high officers that are against massacring civilians, yeah. There are a few of them around.
Left. I mean, Josep Borrell might be out of a job really soon, given the parliamentary shuffle.
Luigi, we still got second place, so we get our pick of foreign minister. We held strong even in our weekend state, people, and only lost four motherfuckers.
Under the leadership of our favorite boy, Pedro.
I mean, he's the most prominent leader of a country who's from this group, 100%. I think the leader of the group is a Swedish guy, Luigi, and the Swedes did pretty well in terms of center left. They
Okay.
delivered their part, Luigi. If you want, it was Malta, Sweden, and Romania who did the best in terms of the center left, in terms of the socialists.
Wow.
Um, and Poland did very well in terms of but we're going back, Luigi. We're going back.
Let's go
We got
back.
sidetracked
Back in
again,
time.
but because we were discussing Joseph. And
Mhm.
and just so we explain, usually the top diplomat is selected, but not exclusively, but selected by the second biggest group in the EU Parliament. That's why we went back to the EU Parliament. So anything you want to add, Luigi, on this? This
That
delayed Benny Gantz's resignation, and I'm glad to see he followed through on his threat. By the way, gives him some
so,
degree of respectability.
yeah, so the quote unquote centrist has withdrawn from the
Very
government.
quote unquote.
Um, Look, my take on this is that like, it's not that obviously there's nuances to this, but anytime you massacre like hundreds of civilians to rescue anyone, I mean, there has to be a better way. I don't know what the better way is to get the
A
hostages
hostage
back.
deal.
Yeah,
Takes
hostage. Yeah,
take the great Jack's peace deal, who he's trying to push to the UN Security Council, by the way. And my opinion on that, Luigi, is regardless of that, whatever, say you push it through, Russia and China don't veto this. Whatever, this is not happening because, I mean, Benny Gantz is out. There's literally nobody even remotely reasonable in the coalition at this point, apart from the other soon-to-be war criminal, Yoav Galant. I think he's considered more moderate as well. He doesn't want to kill all the Palestinian children.
he wants to leave some of them alive.
So he will leave
A
the
few
spawn, a few of their spawn, to wander across the
to
rubbles.
put them in zoos and
Uh,
say, we used to live with them.
Wow, brutal, Luigi. Very anti-Semitic, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Greatest of all anti-Semites this
Greatest.
week,
I'm getting the
Luigi.
title.
You got it. So, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, I mean, the coalition hasn't broken apart, and the US was to push this deal, but at this point in Israel, there's no way this is happening. Smotrich is threatening left and right. All of the far right dudes are threatening left and right. They're gonna fucking break down the government if any deal happens with Hamas. So, I mean, Luigi, I mean, as you said, what's your take? This is not happening once again, right?
it's not gonna happen. No, 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 this is not gonna happen. Man, I mean, Netanyahu is gonna drag this out as much as
Yeah,
possible,
as
whatever it
long as
takes.
humanly possible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
However many blowjobs this guy wants from Bibi, Bibi will deliver,
They're, go-
Luigi.
they're gonna have to pry Bibis's fingers off the chair.
They're
He's not
gonna have
leaving
to
that chair
pry
willingly.
open his stiff, cold mouth from this guy's, you know what?
Dick. We've devolved into dick jokes, George. This is what I
We've
was getting
devolved
to.
into barbarism, Luigi. This is what the European way is all about. Sorry,
Do we
Luigi.
have
Yeah.
anything else on our agenda on this fine evening?
The master of the algorithm himself,
Wow.
defeater of all
Hard
and any bots roaming free. Has he defeated the bots yet,
bringer
Luigi?
of missiles and
And driverless automobiles that can't even drive themselves. The one, the legend,
It's coming.
Elon. It's
It's coming.
coming.
It's
It's
coming.
coming.
It's
You're
gonna be
going to
many.
Mars, baby. It's coming.
So
What do we
yeah,
have,
what
Luigi?
happened? So you remember when Elon tried to get the biggest payday in American corporate history? And we covered it even. A Delaware judge basically blocked it and said that no shareholder
Oh,
in their right minds would ever approve.
wow. He
Um,
got blocked. I'm sorry. Excuse my memory problems. I'm like RFK.
so what
He
happened? Like
got blocked because the judge thought that it was too outrageous of a payday for being a
yeah.
CEO. Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
the judge concluded, we covered it on Radio Rocketman.
I
The judge
believe, I believe.
basically concluded that
But it's like a shit tornado of news, Luigi. You understand.
obviously. So what happened was, so the Delaware judge blocked Elon's 56 billion pay
Wow.
package, and Elon responded by moving Tesla, incorporating it to Texas
Wow.
instead of Delaware.
A living motherfucking legend.
Where you have to imagine he can give himself any payday. What Elon is doing right now is he's calling a shareholder vote, and he's trying to, because the big shareholders are never gonna vote for this willingly. He's trying to get the average
BlackRock. Oh, yeah.
Joe. No, the average Joe that
Yeah, yeah,
sort of
yeah. I'm talking about the big ones. Yeah.
yeah, obviously. Those boys are not gonna give Elon a $56 billion pay package. I mean, he's
Good
not God.
boys. They want, yeah, he's about, they want more of that share to them.
Data and research firm S&P Global found that about 43% of Tesla's common stock is held by the public, another category that includes retail investors. So, yeah, Elon is trying to, like a billionaire is trying to convince regular people to give him like the biggest payday a
I knew
billionaire has
it.
ever gotten.
Dude, that's why he bought Twitter, not a porn site. I don't know what he calls it. It's not a porn site, whatever. That's why he bought it, because he wants the fans, Luigi. He's trying to build his own army of motherfucking incels. That's what he's doing. I knew it. Because some of them are bound to have fucking Dogecoins and Tesla stock. Yes,
Well,
Daddy Elon, vote to give me more money, dipshit. I am your
ba-
god.
it's exactly what's about to happen.
My penis invented the Tesla XXXXX.
They're not
Why?
letting me enjoy my good hard-earned dollars, George.
He wants too much, and we ought to take it. I think that's the conclusion, right, Luigi?
We ought to give him whatever he wants because, like, he is God at this point,
Look at those
right?
hand gestures. Only a genius would hold his hands this way. It
Wow.
is known. It is
It
known.
is known.
Should we finish up on
Elon Musk,
even shit?
yeah,
Bringer,
bringer of the light, protector of the
bringer,
stars.
and savior of the cosmos. We've got your
Wow.
back. You, you degenerate Zambian emerald mine, trust fund dipshit. Should we move on to another dipshit? Great dipshit, I would
Wow.
say, and even more enjoyable
A lot
dipshit.
of victories for the law at this point. Like the legal
We,
system is doing a pretty decent job.
I mean, as Jon Stewart said in his last episode, which I think I already told our viewers to watch it. I mean, it's the last fucking bastion of any degree of fucking reasonableness in the United States at this point. It's the only place where you can say, no, I won the election. And the fucking judge is going to prove it, bitch, or shut the fuck up.
That
So you're right,
bastion,
yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, it's
The
not
last
the best legal system in the fucking world. I
the
would
last
venture.
frontier, George. The
It's the last
judicial
one.
system.
The great honorable judges, such as Clarence Thomas, well-known great honorable judge.
Mhm.
I'm just
That
hoping
have
it's not
yeah.
it's not entirely full of Clarence Thomases, Luigi.
There have
Seems
to be
not to
a
be.
few decent judges.
There
Yeah.
have to be, because he's been forced to liquidate his assets. Nice. We love that.
Excellent.
Should we move on
Excellent.
to Belgian PM resigns? I mean, who gives a shit about Belgium, right? Should we end it?
Hashtag not even a country. Yeah. Let's end it on that.
So everybody, hope you had a pleasant time with Luigi once again at the co-helm. Luigi.
Both
An
a
honor.
privilege and an honor.
A gentleman and a scholar. A protector of the motherfucking realm, which is holding the center shall hold, Luigi.
The center is strong.
Is strong. Macron, we don't know. The jury's not out yet.
Macron's about to get his butt handed to him. So
as
stay tuned.
As the great Obama called it, a shellacking.
I'm not recommending for every future president that they take a shellacking like I did last night.
Stay tuned, everyone.
Alrighty, then. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week, guys. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye, and enjoy the rest of your week.